Welcome back to the Mr. G Computer Science channel. Don't forget to subscribe to our channel to keep you up to date with the latest videos, and don't forget to hit the thumbs up to like our video. So let's have a look at the exam question, which is based on the topic of trace tables. The following algorithm is used to determine a login ID. It's asking us to complete a trace table for the given inputs of James for the first name, Bond for the second name, and the year of start is being entered as 1962. We've been given the code for the program, so let's first of all talk us through the actual source code itself. In lines 1 to 5, you can see a function declaration. The function is called login name, and it takes three parameters: parameter first name, parameter surname, and parameter year. It declares a local variable called initial. Remember, local variables are only accessible during the execution of the function itself. So we are setting the local variable initial to the value of the substring of the parameter p first name. It's asking us to start at the first character of the first name and return one character in length. So we've been given the first name as James, so the character that occupies position 0 in a string is the J, because this is index position 0. It's asking us to return just one character, so we will get the capital J back. So the local variable initial will be assigned the value of capital J. The year local variable is assigned the value of the substring of the parameter year, starting at position 2. So if we look at the year 1962, position 0 is the 1, position 1 is the 9, position 2 is the 6. And it's asking us to return two characters. So it will return the 6 and the 2. So let's just reiterate that again. Position 0 is the 1, position 1 is the 9, position 2 is the 6. It's asking us to return two characters, so it will return the 6 and the 2. That takes us on to the line 4 of the code, which asks us to take the uppercase of the initial, just in case it wasn't entered as an uppercase J, so that will ensure that it is an uppercase J, plus the uppercase of the surname, which is the entirety of the surname. So in this case, Bond, B-O-N-D, will all be in capitals, plus the year, which is the last two characters of the year, which is 62. So that's what will be returned from this function call. So the first line of code that will be executed will be line 7, where the user is asked to enter the first name. Then line 8, we will enter the surname. Line 9 enters the year. We then call the function login name, sending it the first name, the surname, and the year. It then prints out a string literal of your login ID, followed by the login ID variable. So now let's look at the contents of the trace table as we step through the code. So our starting position is line 7. First name is assigned the value of the input. So we've been given an input of James in the exam question. So James goes into the global variable first name. Line 8. assign the global variable surname the input of the surname. So in this case, we've been instructed to use the word bond in the exam question. Line 9, assign the variable year to the input. And again, in the exam question, we were instructed to use the year 1962. So that's our first 3 lines of simple input, occupying each line in the trace table. In line 10, we can see we are calling the function login name, and we are passing it 3 variables. We are passing it first name, surname, and year. So the first name will be temporarily stored in the parameter p first name. The surname will be stored in the parameter p surname, and year will be stored in p year. So our first line of code within the function that modifies the contents of a variable is line 2. Set the local variable initial to being equal to p first name dot substring 0, 1. So this tells us to go to the first character in the string and return 1 character back. The first character of the first name is J, so this will set initial to capital J. Year in line 3 is set to the substring from position 2 and return 2 characters. So if we look at the contents of the parameter p year, we know it stores the value 1962. The 6 is in position 2. So that means start at the 6 and return 2 characters. So we now have 62 within the local variable for year. Notice how we've color-coded our local variables just so you don't get them mixed up with your global variables. We are then saying return the uppercase of the initial, just in case you didn't press capital J for James, the uppercase of the entirety of surname, so bond will be converted to uppercase bond, and then we're adding in the final 2 characters of year, 62. So where you see the plus sign being used with strings, this is called string concatenation, or the joining of 2 or more strings. So we are returning J bond 62 into the variable login ID in line 10. In line 11, we have a print statement which prints out a string literal of your login ID, followed by the contents of the variable login ID. So you can see here we have our string literal, your login ID, plus the contents of the variable login ID. Hope you enjoyed the video. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel and give us a thumbs up for the video.